welcome everyone to another Discord AMA with Alex and myself. Kyle couldn't be here. He's in a very important meeting right now, so he asked me to fill in. But yeah, let's get started here.
Morning, everyone, or afternoon, or evening, or wherever you are. I am coming live from my home as I had a early podcast this morning. So I actually have two babies under two. So if you hear some of their singing, if you will, I apologize. Hopefully the Discord AI will cut most of it out. Hey, Flywheel, I saw you win Delta last night.
Yeah, it was very nice to see Delta Force open again, and hopefully see some interesting things. Um, I kind of had some general questions about where you guys saw the game developing much further on. Maybe that may not be the best topic to start on if you guys don't want to do that, but I was kind of curious, when it gets to the whole strategic view, are you guys kind of imagining a 3D environment, kind of seamless, maybe like World of Warcraft type thing, or kind of like a two-dimensional map and you pop into instances, some sort of confined area?
It won't be we're definitely not envisioning a seamless world like World of Warcraft. It'll be more like like allotted areas that you kind of plug into, but it will be seamless in the sense that like battles will happen quickly, kind of thing, and you'll be able to operate within your 3D world. There's no plans for the kind of seamless, World of Warcraft style world though.
Yeah, no, I could see that being a lot very ambitious. Let me know if I'm taking up too much time. It's going to be kind of like Earth at the start, and then maybe expanding to Mars at some point, and so on and so forth, or?
Yeah, exactly. Without giving too much away, there's definitely in future versions or seasons, if you will, there's going to be space-related activities,
Okay.
and obviously Mars will feature quite heavily due to the lore of Red Mountain.
Yeah, I saw that, so I was curious if it was going to be both at launch. Well, to be honest, my first thought might have been it was solely Mars, but um, and
Uh,
then I guess final. Oh, go ahead.
I'm a massive The Expanse fan, both the books and the TV show. So, um, yeah, I can't lie and say that we don't draw inspiration from it. So, you may see the asteroid belt.
No, that'd be great. I really liked visually. I liked it. Uh, I think last time I saw it, it was kind of going off into aliens and stuff, and that kind of. But and I guess kind of the last question would be, in general with the economy, I guess how complex would you want to do that? Like maybe are we talking like city building aspects, maybe like some sort of Factorio type thing, or just you put down some resource stuff and most of the gameplay is spent kind of fighting over things?
Uh, this is a tough question for me to answer because there's no
Nah, yeah, I don't want to
definite.
put you on the spot right away,
Yeah,
so.
no. Oh, it's tough, but it's a good question. I don't want to. We're not like an absolute of those two. It's somewhere in between. I'm a huge Factorio fan, and definitely we won't be looking at the kind of complexity that Factorio has because that's a whole game in and of itself. But definitely draw inspiration from that kind of joined system. And as as a company full of programmers and developers, we love that modular, logical workflow that Factorio style games have. Logistics and the impacts that has on your operations definitely will feature heavily, because logistics also provides value to the actual locations that you own and operate in the world. So there definitely will be elements, and in all honesty, the level of complexity will be something we figure out also like as we're doing it. So there's obviously there's plans now, but we need to make sure that the complexity isn't too much or too little. So it's something that we have to be careful with to make sure it's engaging for people who want to dive into that kind of
Yeah,
well,
maybe a simpler way of phrasing that is, will the game have trains?
so like I said, logistics definitely will play heavily, and that may or may not include trains.
All right. I think that's about all I have for the moment.
Thanks, Flywheel. All right. We have a question in the live broadcast AMA channel about cameras. Someone wants to know if there's going to be any plans to add syndicate cameras to track certain syndicates mechs, or to add cameras where you can track your own mech in battle specifically.
So on the very near future roadmap, the actual cards that like task cards that the devs get, we have network cameras, which means being able to run your own desktop client and provide and actually function as a camera within the world, and spectate from whatever angle you want. This is definitely an important feature we want to roll out as soon as we can. And this will also, once this feature is in, will give us the ability to have multiple streams of different angles. And so that will definitely be something that we play with. As for kind of like syndicate level cameras or mech level cameras, I don't see that being too difficult, but I don't want to speak for our Unreal Engine developers who are probably listening to this and getting angry at me.
All right. Another one we got here just asked about the different AIs for separate syndicates. So he's asking specifically about Red Mountain and how they move differently. Do you want to go into a bit more detail about how they move, Boston, Red Mountain, and Zaibatsu?
So they do have different AI profiles. I can't speak too much into this without going into our Notion and reading all the specifics, but they definitely all have different AIs and they function differently, and they should have different personalities. As for how they move, a lot of that actually comes down to the animations for the mech itself. They're all three mechs are very different styles. You have Zaibatsu, which is more your Japanese style mecha. You have Red Mountain, which is your classic mech warrior style mech, and then Boston, which is more akin to your standard like Western style robot. And due to that, they have very different animations. Probably a poor choice for us commercially because our animators have to repeat the same work over and over again. But stylistically, it means they all look and function very differently.
Loun is asking about AIs. Are they upgrading via machine learning now or tweaking from coders? Does the AI improve the more they go into battle?
It's tweaking for coders. We are recording everything from in-game, and every decision loop and things like that. Whether we eventually run that through machine learning training, we definitely will as an experiment. Whether we actually bring it in-game, I'm not sure. We don't actually want to make the AI too superior, which kind of goes against the law. But if we make it too superior before we even add human pilots and human created AIs, that could end up being a real barrier to our players. So it's something we're definitely interested in from an experimental perspective. And the background of Ninja, we definitely we love ML. So and we've got actually two people who are helping us very specifically with this kind of tech. So we'll definitely have a play with it. Whether it will ever be brought in game is a decision we need to make, and my gut says we probably won't.
All right, we got BTC Buddies in the request. He's going to come up on stage now.
Hi, Alex. How you going? Hi, Spencer.
Hey, mate.
Hey.
But just question in regards to the NFTs, the Max itself. What are the plans? I mean, how would someone actually go on OpenSea and buy a rarest Mac compared to a $1 Mac? I mean, apart from the skins, and I believe some sort of weapons are coming in the next NFT drop. What are the plans? I mean, how can we engage people to say, you know what, this Deus Ex is more rare, and these are the benefits of the Mac itself compared to a $1 Mac, which is a Mega one. So, what are the thinking behind it? I mean, how are we going to improve the actual Mac abilities itself?
So the rares already have some differentiators when it comes to gameplay. They're small, but they are there. So they're like speed differences and armor differences and things like that. We do have some functionality on the road on the near road map too to really differentiate them in game. So they will always be desirable, especially over the vanilla $1 max. When the destructible max, when actual consequences come in, there'll be some the rares will become even more desirable. So there'll definitely be some mechanisms. I believe we're going to drop some news today on our plans for Genesis, etc. So I don't want to speak too much about that. And Kyle is our resident NFT expert, so it's a shame he wasn't here to answer your question. But just hold out for the news. I think that'll be releasing within the next few hours.
Yeah, I can add a bit to that as well. With the NFTs and their abilities, we kind of we're balancing on a tightrope between wanting to make them more desirable, but not falling into some kind of pay to win type of model. So if you have NFTs that are so much more superior to the others, then whales come in and they buy them out, and it becomes less fun. So it's definitely something we're tweaking, but it's not going to be anything major. Welcome, Kyle.
Understandable. I mean, if we can actually merge NFTs, if even if on a Mega, if we can actually add the weaponaries to it to make it more desirable, and obviously
composables are definitely coming in, and composing Genesis as well. That will be our next big release from an NFT perspective, and that will be relatively soon.
Is that a possibility? Because I've seen other NFT games that you can actually combine two NFTs together to make it more stronger ability wise or desirable wise.
You won't be able to mash two mechs together, but you will be able to remove items that it has, remove weapons that it has, add new ones, level up these weapons and items. So there'll be a lot of composability with our NFTs.
All right, no worries, guys. Just as usual, my normal question. I actually like the latest YouTube video with Paul. I really like that he went more into inside of that the game itself rather than just talking, different games in the metaverse universe at the moment. So I actually love that YouTube, and I'm hoping that you bring more and more the influencers on board to attract more investors and players from the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting people coming to us now, so we're definitely hitting project momentum rather than having to push uphill like Sisyphus.
Yep, no worries, guys. Best of luck, and yeah, looking forward to the next NFT drop and the announcement today.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks. Schlander, you there?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey.
just falling back to the NFT sort of thing, mechs. I've noticed if looking through the roadmap, I didn't see nothing. There's a fair few new people sort of floating in, asking about getting new mechs and whatnot. Is there going to be oh shit, I've forgotten the word. Staking coming anytime soon? I know it's early and all, but with that might increase the value and desirability of mechs potentially as well.
We are working on a couple mechanisms. It'll be in game, so it's not your classic like DeFi staking, but functionally has the same impact, but it actually works from a gameplay and lore perspective. So one of the commitments we want to try and make is everything we do makes some sense. It's not just a it's not just functionality we've added in there to try and pump the value of the NFTs or the coins or something like that. Like it's something that actually makes sense from a lore perspective, and it's how the syndicates and characters within our game would actually operate. And so when you talk about staking, it's always been something we have been working on getting into the game, and our very smart lore authors and game designers and NFT people and myself and Kyle and Spencer as well. We've put a lot of workshopping in to make sure it really fits. And so we have actually finalized a couple things, and we'll be trying out the actual functionality in Delta very soon.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's definitely a two-sided coin, like you were saying earlier. Someone might just buy out all the mechs just to farm them out and do that, But yeah. Anyway, cheers.
No worries. Thanks for the question.
Thanks. Okay, we got a question about from Captain Cryptos. Currently, there's little incentive in holding a Genesis mech, and the battle deployment is a big gamble in the current version. Do you plan on adding more exclusive functionality only available to Genesis holders?
Yes. So like I said to BTC buddies, and maybe Kyle can speak more on this. I think that's why he jumped in here. So Kyle.
Hello. Had to find the unmute button. Genesis is the piece de la résistance of the NFT collection. It'll always have a very special place in the ecosystem and a range of benefits for the duration of the project. It's specifically around Genesis's differences between, say, the Mega and the Deus Ex. It's a sliding scale of a in-game attribute between each syndicate. So there are three sort of primary in-game attributes: speed, health, and shield. In the Boston collection, speed is adjusted from the lowest tier to the highest tier. The highest tier has a different speed, a higher speed than the lowest tier in Boston. In Red Mountain, it's health. So Red Mountain has increased health, the higher the rarity. And in Zaibatsu, it's shield. So the Deus Ex has the most shield. So as you increase rarity, you also increase the amount of shield to that mech. And so there are these statistical differences between rarity in each syndicate in Genesis as well. We'll be putting out more information on that today and over the coming week as well. Infographics and stats information.
Yep. All right. Disposable Hero says, I feel like there's a lot of questions about the far future. Is anyone going to ask about the present? Did the Brave browser push and token launch weekend go as envisioned?
It went pretty well. I would say that the last Brave push definitely brought us a lot more users, as you can see by our online recruits. Total recruits in Discord now. So we got more than 4,000 new Discord recruits. So that was definitely a success. The sale went as planned. The move to Pancake Swap went as planned. I'm not going to talk on the token price as it is a utility token, and there are very, very clear guidelines around that. And nothing we are doing is to manipulate or pump that price. So if you have questions on the price of the token, that's something that would be better served discussing in chat. The token will reflect the economy of Supremacy. So as we bring more stuff out and increase the economy, the value of the economy, and that includes future NFT collections, that includes future gameplay functionality, that includes future games, that also includes different shop fronts that we're going to bring in that will be powered by SUPs too. So we are, going to, for instance, sell T-shirts with SUPs. We're going to provide a lot of value to the token itself, and that'll become very evident over the next few months.
All right. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to jump up. BTC Buddies is back again. We can bring him up again.
I guess just was thinking and listening to the last questions and how Alex answered the question. Obviously, we need to work more towards the game than worry about the utility tokens and the price and all that. So the better the game is, I'm pretty sure that more players and users will attract to the game itself. But my question is more towards the circulating supply. So I've noticed in CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko is not yet started. I mean, any feedback on that? And even I noticed that when it was listed on CoinMarketCap, it didn't show up into recently added coins. Because normally, what I normally do is that if I go to CoinMarketCap, first thing I do is which are the tokens are recently added, and then I join their Discord and Telegram and see what are the functions and what's the coin is all about. So I think a couple of things. So first, CoinGecko is not up yet. Second thing, on CoinMarketCap, it didn't show up onto the recently added coins. And another thing is that it's not been showing the circulating supply.
Yeah, so I can speak on that. CoinMarketCap has a really efficient self-reporting system for adjusting and adding to their protocol. So we have self-reporting with them, so we can adjust and add different markets that are added. That's why it was so swift to get added to there. CoinGecko doesn't have the same efficiency of their own internal systems and applications, and so adapting and changing parts of CoinGecko's listing is a manual email and a manual process from them. And so that adjustment and latest updates to CoinGecko has gone through to them, and we're just awaiting them to sort it out on their side of things. And then regards to the circulating supply, the circulating supply on chain is driven by the liquidity and the amount of withdrawals that come into that system. And so we're looking to input that information and generate it live to onboard it into those both of those listings token sites.
Okay, so you won't be able to tell us what the circulating supply as of now?
I don't have it written down on a piece of paper right now on my hand, but there's definitely information we're looking to get out there.
Okay, no worries, guys. Thanks a lot. Best of luck.
The information is pretty easy to collate. We just don't have it in front of us. But we'll put something out around that.
All right, Captain Cryptos asks, what's the timeline for weapon mods and how will the fitting process happen?
So timeline is very soon, within 4 to 8 weeks. The fitting process will be much like a hanger where you essentially manipulate the parts of your mech. There will be some 3D elements to that as well, so it'll be pretty cool. You'll be able to interact directly with your mech, and yeah, it's coming on our next big release. So it was always going to be the next version, if you will, of Supremacy, at least of the battle stream. So yeah, I don't want to give a direct date at this stage, but I know the team is pretty far along.
All right. There's a lot of questions about, or a couple of questions about centralized and decentralized exchanges. Kyle has more info on that. Kyle, if you want to talk a bit about our plans for exchanges.
Hey, I missed the first half of that question, but I believe that was around centralized exchanges.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a target for us and an ongoing process with applications. These centralized exchanges take time, and we're definitely of keen interest, and we've got applications that are going out, and we can't speak or reveal exact details and timelines, and that's part of the process with these centralized exchanges.
All right. We've got a couple more questions about the in-game market. When is that coming, and what's it going to serve as?
It's coming really soon, and it will allow players to sell their NFTs to each other without leaving the platform. It's pretty soon on the roadmap. I don't want to give a direct date again, but it will be released before the next big drop. So yeah, just look out for that one.
All right, Chaos Blade has a question. Will Supremacy be approached as an esport? Tournaments, live commenting, halftime shows, sponsorships, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? That's definitely been something that we've envisioned right from the start. And I mean, even just getting commentary online is something that we've been putting a bit of effort into. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Balance-wise, given the overwhelming impact of direct damage abilities like nukes, airstrikes on battles right now, are you considering lowering their damage potential or taking them out for now so the mechs can shine more? In my opinion, abilities are more relevant in the later stages.
I don't want to get dragged too deep into conversations on balance because it's a really complex really complex equations and we have to put a lot of thought into it, and this is why Delta will be really important over the next few months, is that this is where we will test different balances and try different things. There's no doubt that the abilities can have a massive impact on the outcome, and I mean, that it essentially was always intended, and the balance to that is to have things that essentially disincentivize using them. I don't want to say one way or another what we're going to do, because it has to be very thoroughly tested, not just internally with us, but tested with Delta, with players actually playing it and giving us feedback on what they think. The thing about balance in a game like ours is that we'll never make everyone happy, and our goal has to be to make sure that we provide players, at least from the beginning, an equal playing field, and then the ability to use strategy and skill to step above that equal playing level. It's if you've got a lot of thoughts on balance and ideas and suggestions, please feel free to give us the feedback, and definitely jump into Delta. Join Delta. There is no minimum time commitment for Delta, although there are incentives. We do incentivize, giving us your time. But jump into Delta, play on the staging platform. It's essentially a no risk way to engage, and then you can give us some real feedback, and you can test things before we even go live with them.
Do we get feedback if we're accepted into Delta Force or not? I'm worried my chosen game response was not the right answer. Fox Saber, we go into the Delta Force responses and manually check them every now and then. So we'll probably have another round of recruits pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, there's definitely like a good batch of new Delta Force recruits we're looking to onboard ASAP.
Yeah, definitely apply. There's very little reason we would actually decline your application. I think the only reasons we would decline you is if you have a toxic personality, and I'm not seeing much of that in our community anyway. So,
all right, we got Zushi. Am I saying that right? Zushi.
So I have a question about a particular bug I'm facing, which is after securing the better ability vote, the map does not pop up and I am unable to launch the ability. And I find it extremely frustrating. I'm part of the Delta Force and I tried it, the latest staged version, and still does not work. So if I were to provide feedback based on that, how would it work out?
so we are aware of some optimization issues with the targeting minimap, and are working on it. So if you could just put another message into the Delta feedback, and then we can actually engage you and test specifically, because we actually don't have any devices in our office that encounter the same problems. So the more people we have on hand to actively test would be really helpful. But yeah, we are aware of it, and it's right up the top of our list of things to resolve.
Regarding the Delta Force reward, can you clarify more regarding whether this counts towards the 15 mech limit? Can we only have 14 plus 1, or can we have 15 current max plus 1? There's going to be more details about that posted in an announcement later today, I believe, in regards to the Delta Force rewards for mystery crates, and then also Genesis mechs in general. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, no need to speak to this. Just hold out for the news. I'm fairly certain everyone will be happy.
Can you guys give a thought about the Mech Holders permanent citizenship multiplier? It's one way of encouraging people to buy mechs.
This goes back to the balance question, and it's something we are working through and testing. It's we don't want to make decisions too quickly on this, and we know that mech ownership needs to be figured out. We're going to really put a lot of attention on giving the mech owners and the mech queuers incentives that don't actually pilfer from the spoils of war, if you will. So we're focused on providing the mech value directly, and that means it's not as easy as just giving them a multiplier, but overall, longer term, it will have a bigger and better impact.
Another question from BTC Buddies. Have we looked into Veracity streaming platform? They already have a huge community, and it'd be great to get subs using their streaming platform. I have looked into Veracity. I think Kyle knows about it as well. We could reach out to them and see what we can do partnership-wise. It's an interesting thing because they are streaming related. So we'll look into it.
Yeah, so our key focus right now is our own globally distributed streaming system. and optimizing and growing that. And then same interactions with Twitch. As we progressed, we can interact our stream with these systems that allow for that degree of interactability, whether it's interactability or just watching the game. But that's definitely something we will explore as we perfect and evolve our own stream over time.
All right, we got Leo Crest getting invited up onto the stage. Leo, you there?
I just had a quick question from playing over the last few weeks or days. I was curious about thoughts on friendly fire with abilities like airstrike and nuke. I've seen several instances where it feels like we just destroy our own teams, and I was curious about thoughts on reduced damage when you're using an ability that hits your own mechs.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Like I definitely wouldn't want to nerf nukes for friendly fire. It's one of those things you've got to think about. When you send a nuke in, are you going to impact your own mechs? And it's part of the challenge of the nuke. Due to overwhelming pressure, we did reduce the friendly fire for the overcharge ability for Zaibatsu, and that was a difficult decision to make on its own as well. But it did at least figure into the way the ability works itself. I don't see us reducing friendly fire for the nuke. Definitely, airstrike is something we could look at, and we actually have plans for kind of modifiers on abilities that could do things that will, not fix this problem, but make it less of a problem. So there'll be strategies around that, and that essentially is how we prefer to solve these kind of problems, is provide a strategy to get around it rather than just kind of turn it off.
All right, we're going to bring up Vertigo. Vertigo, you there? And Gritbeat.
Yo, what's up?
There we go. Gritbeat, what's your question?
So I'm gonna give you guys a quick little break on the direct game question, but I'll ask us something that is related to it. So we're a group of us in the whole indie community that I know are active musicians and production people, and we are I'm wondering, would you guys be interested in cooperating with us with promo videos for you guys, and we would do like royalty free music, which would kind of like take that kind of job away from you guys from looking from, and we would like put something together like a 4-week period. We put like a couple of promo tracks for you guys. That would be fitting. Could be something interesting to look into. You have a community of creators around you.
Yeah, speaking from the content production side of things, we're definitely looking for more music. I know when I'm making the tutorials and stuff for the YouTube, there's definitely not enough for me to work with in terms of that. So yeah, if you wanted to reach out to me and shoot me a DM with more information, I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Oh, I'll definitely do that for you. Definitely, gladly.
Cheers.
All right, that's all from my bit.
Vertigo, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. So I was kind of piggybacking. I had two questions, but piggybacking on Leo's question, I'm having major issues with lag. Basically, so when I do actually win the nuke or the airstrike or something like that, many times I can't even deploy it. It says like I'm clicking in an area, it's not deploying it. The countdown clock is going extremely slow, sometimes up to 10 to 30 seconds behind. It takes the 3 seconds to count down, so then it pulls that away from me. I have a Mac. Is it something with my computer, maybe, or is it something that's happening on your end, or is there a way I can help maybe test things out?
Yeah, so that's actually really funny. So, like I said in a previous question, we're definitely aware of the optimization issues with the targeting minimap, and something we're really focused on. It's right up the top of the list. So my partner, she actually suffers the same issues. So I'm gonna swap my MacBook Pro out with her MacBook Air, and we're gonna try and nut it out. Yeah, it's definitely something we're aware of, and it's definitely something we will fix. So if you're in Delta, that would be really cool if you could let us know like what times you're more likely to be online, so we can directly test new builds with you. Yeah, it's definitely right up the top of our problems we have to solve list.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely willing to help out. I'll send you a message or something like that. I'm usually on most of the day. I trade full time, so I kind of play in the background. My second question is, I've noticed in the last maybe couple days, the spoils of war have dropped off considerably. Is this people walking away, or is this something you guys are seeing? They're just going to play Delta Force instead? Do you have any comments on that?
I think it's people getting a bit more strategic with the way they're spending subs. In the early days, we just saw people do crazy amounts in really small amounts of time, which is one of the reasons we changed the denominations on the buttons, because I think there's often a bit of regret after you you AP in on a nuke. But I think it's actually people just becoming a bit more strategic and thinking more about when they should actually engage with the abilities. We definitely see spikes though, so I think there's certain times of the day when you see a lot bigger spoils of war. It's something we're actually tracking, so we'll put out, I think this weekend or after the weekend, we'll put out some actual data on the levels of spoil of war as per the kind of time of day.
I know I asked you about like a block explorer too, kind of in a private message, so we could kind of track things on our own. I also play Pegaxy, and I have some of their Pegasus and whatnot. I rent them out. Are you guys going to come out with any kind of dashboard or anything like that for us users to kind of track things a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, and there'll be more stats and information actually in the battle UI itself. So yeah, these are things that'll be rolling out pretty quickly.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. All right. We got another question from the chat. Is the zero-sum design of the battle arena a core part of the idea or a result of the entire rest of the economy not yet existing?
Yeah, so this is a cool question, and definitely one I'm open to answer. So, it absolutely is missing the rest of the economy, and the idea definitely fills out better when the rest of the economy is there. One of the challenges for us in the design of the battle stream is that the syndicates need an incentive to win the battles. Now, in the full economy, that is for land and resources. Why anyone invades another piece of land. With the initial battle stream, obviously that functionality is not out yet. That those features are not here. So that does mean it kind of does have a zero-sum feel to it. And we are working on some short-term mechanisms to decrease that feeling. And and we will be releasing some lore and some features that will, in a way that makes sense, provide incentive and a motive for the syndicates for the battle stream, and this will make a lot of sense, and I think it will also change the way the people interact with the battle stream, as they'll understand and feel a unified goal for what they're trying to achieve in the battle stream. It won't just be a kind of pointless mech back and forth, which is cool, but I think providing motive is important.
All right, we've got Sarah Connor, Queen of Boston Cybernetics, coming up.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Very cool. I love the name.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm busy looking after mine and Kyle's baby, John, but he's having a bit of a nap right now. I don't know if anyone gets that.
I didn't get it.
No, it went over my head too.
Terminator. John Connor's father.
Of course, yes. It's just that you said Kyle, and I'm like, wait, Kyle has a child, but he spends so much time at the office.
Anyway, I'm at my Fiat job, so I better keep it quick. I want to expand on what was said about the mini Mac. I'm working off a MacBook Pro as well, and I have exactly the same issues with the mini Mac. The map comes up. If I click a square, it will select it. If I try and double click it, it kicks me off. If I try and move square, it kicks me off. The other problem that I have is moving it. It's really hard to move. And then actually being able to tell the difference between who is blue and who is white and who is red's not so bad, but blue and white, they need to be bolder because you can't really tell the difference. So I think that's when people are bombing themselves. And the other thing I'm having problems with is my VPN. So I was really struggling to get any live stream of the Battle Arena, but I found if I switch my VPN off, I can get it. I then switch it back on again. But for me, obviously, that's going to be, I don't really want to keep switching my VPN on and off. So I don't know if that's something that anyone else is experiencing. I'm going to try and do Delta during the day and then playing normally in the evening, 9:30 sort of onwards. I'll be playing a real-time game. But I'm around to sort of answer any questions if anyone wants to know what my MacBook's up to.
Yeah, that's great. Well, so first question is, what browser are you using? Are you using Safari or Chrome or Brave?
Brave.
Okay, great. That's good to know. So there's a few issues to unpack here. Have you used the targeting system within the last couple of days? Because I noticed you said squares. The squares are gone now, and there definitely is a performance increase. I'm wondering if you've used it within the last 48 hours.
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't think I won any airstrikes last night. So I don't know if within 48 hours, I definitely have.
All right. Well, yeah, if you could jump into Delta when you get a chance and have a go, it's a lot easier to win a trigger on Delta, at least at the moment, while the numbers are low. Just give it a try, because we have done some improvements. I believe people are still experiencing issues, so we're obviously going to continue making improvements. As for the not being able to determine who's who, we've definitely got some fixes on the list for that. Because I've actually, especially on the Arctic map, I know it's actually kind of difficult to tell Zaibatsu and Boston apart, and I've actually nuked my own mech, so I understand the pain there. We also know that there's some members of our community who are colorblind who have been really struggling with it, so we'll have more than just a color queue for determining who's who. That will be coming in pretty soon.
And what about the VPN?
Yes. What VPN provider are you using, and where are their servers? So like what?
Express VPN. Not sure where their servers are, but I
So
can
like
find
when
out.
when you connect, do you pick a location, or you just kind of connect and away you go?
So I'm in Perth, and I have it set. Oh, sorry, I'm in South WA, and I have it set to smart location. So it usually sets me as Perth.
Cool. And when you pick the stream server, do you pick Australia?
It usually automatically starts in Australia. In the early few days, I was swapping streams, and I was finding Japan and Germany were good. But I would say since the last, I don't know, maybe 48, even 72 hours, I've probably only stayed on Australia. I don't think I've needed to change once.
All right.
And
Yeah.
I can switch my VPN back on, but if I need to do a refresh for any reason, which obviously when we had the queuing not auto-updating, I was refreshing quite a lot. That was annoying because I basically had to switch my VPN off. But now that the queue auto-updates, I'm not having to refresh really nearly as often.
Yeah, we'll try Express out. I mean, can you watch YouTube fine through Express?
Yep, I have no problems with anything else. Sometimes it gets a bit, sometimes I do have to automatically switch it off and on again, but that will affect everything. This just seems to be when I'm trying to log in to the battle arena. I can log in, I can see everything, I just can't see the visuals of the arena. I just get a black square.
Interesting.
I can take some screenshots.
Oh, unfortunately, the screenshots won't help us that much, but I guess one of the team will get an Express account and we'll give it a test.
Thank you. And I'm absolutely loving it. It's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for joining Delta.
You're welcome. See you guys.
See ya. All right, we've got Bossy up. Bossy, you there?
Yeah. So I just had a quick question. In one of your interviews on YouTube, there was a mention about Mech NFT destruction or permanent destruction. I was wondering if there was going to be any kind of mechanism that could be purchased to offset that as a chance of happening.
There won't be. So obviously, there'll be armor for your like your power core and things like that will make it less likely. But the big thing that people will be able to do is get insurance for their mech, which would essentially the insurance company would replace your mech like for like, much like your car. The plan is for that functionality to be player provided, so players will be able to essentially offer insurance over insurance markets, and this will be a fairly interesting mechanism from an economic sense, and one of the first things that will come into the full economic simulation.
Interesting. That's good. That's good to hear. I just gotta say this is an amazing endeavor so far, and you guys have something great going on. And thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks for the kind words.
Thank you.
All right, we got Vertigo back again.
Yeah, thank you, sirs. Thank you for having me up on stage. Another issue I've been having is with the abilities when the voting comes up. It's like it'll come up basically after I can already see it's been deployed. So my ability to vote on it is essentially nothing. So I have to basically only click on the particular ability of my clan. So is this something you guys are seeing? Again, I'm using a little bit older MacBook. Does it have to do with the Mac, or is it something that you guys have heard about before? Essentially, I basically can't vote. Occasionally I can, but I basically just have to continuously smash the button, and then I maybe spend more than I want to or less. Also, the updates on the subs I've spent it's delayed up to 60 seconds.
So the when you see like bars pre-filled, your syndicate or other syndicates on the abilities, that's because the last round, people contributed to it but didn't get it, so it carries over to the next one. So if your syndicate gets halfway and misses out, you have a much better chance on the next tick over. And sometimes
I understand that.
Yeah.
It's on the delay in my ability to vote on it or to add subs to it. A 45-second delay sometimes. So I'll try to be voting on it, and then I can see on the little feed on the right side that the nuke or the airstrike has already been deployed, and I haven't even gotten a chance for it to come highlighted.
So my partner, she's listening to this and she's just messaging me, oh my god, I have all the same problems. So when I swap my MacBook Pro out from her MacBook Air, I will be able to test all these same things, and we'll get them solved. I think they're all related. So the minimap problems, the voting ability problems, it's definitely essentially the same underlying unoptimization, and it's definitely something we'll be able to find and fix. So yeah, I promise you that by next week we'll have solved it.
Either way, I'm buying a better computer soon, so it shouldn't be a problem for me soon.
Well, you shouldn't have to though. So the battle stream, part of one of the promises we made to ourselves is that because it's a stream of a game, it should be a lot less demanding on the specs of your system. So it's definitely something we need to fix, and not just a hardware limitation.
Yeah, and just so you know, I shut off the stream. I put it on no stream, so I'm just seeing the mini map and trying to pull. I mean, I've done everything to pull processes off the CPU or GPU or whatever it is that's happening, but the fan still, I can hear it whirring up like crazy when I'm playing the game. Just so you know.
Yeah. So you shouldn't have to do that, and I'll make it my mission that you won't.
Thank you.
Ben. I've just seen another question from Fox Saber that I think was interesting. He asked, would there be a chance to influence the overall battle strategy of the AI mechs? Perhaps a pre-match vote for a defensive, aggressive, or balanced strategy for the battle? Kind of like rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, the mechanisms like that are definitely coming, and will be part of our next drop, and just future features that will roll out, like smaller features too. It's everyone goes to rock, paper, scissors, and there's a reason why a lot of these games have like 3 factions or 3 different elementals, and yeah, it's we have quite a lot planned that kind of fit this model, and will provide that interesting balance of not being able to attack everything, not be able to defend against everything, and having to actually coordinate with other players. That's also something we're really dedicated to, is making sure that everything we introduce has a team element to it. We sit in front of whiteboards for hours writing up cool ideas and realizing, wait, hang on, this is like a singular experience, and the battle stream should always be a shared experience.
For sure. We don't have any more people in the queue, and I'm not seeing too many more questions in chat. But if anyone has a couple more, we'll take them before we end today. Mech stats. Yeah, I've seen a few people asking about mech stats. What kind of stats are we looking at getting in the future for the actual mechs in game? So like wins, losses, things like that.
That is coming next week. That's right up the top of the list. The optimization issues with our with the abilities and the map is on the top of the list, and the very next one is getting stats and like post-match recaps, things like that into the UI. A lot of it is actually already done, but was kind of pre-refactor and just needs to be updated with the new underlying engine. Yeah, it's right up there. It's number 2 on the list.
All right, we got Krypton. Krypton, I sent you an invite to speak. Inuchi as well, if one of you wants to hop up.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I got a question. Will there be possibly like an update in the future where there could be certain caps or limitations into putting in soups, whether as to voting or applying for ability, so that everyone gets a chance for an interaction and that it doesn't discourage people with lower soups to, try to sit games out?
Yeah, we have designed a mechanism to essentially like cater to that and provide incentives around that kind of strategic gameplay. We'll be testing it in Delta. We are essentially going to slow down on changing mechanisms in the live game, and there'll be minimum tested for a week in Delta to see how our Delta Force react to it. And we are essentially going to do things in Delta to make it closer to the real game. I mean, it is kind of like people do play differently when when there's no consequences, but we're going to essentially provide gameplay style incentives to make it more like closer to the real play. But we definitely have plans to solve like the issue that you're talking about. Yeah, we unfortunately can't just drop it on live. I would like to, but it's definitely on our list of
Well,
things
as long as
to
it's on the
cater to.
pipeline, I guess I couldn't argue with that. Because we've been having some games where there are people who are blindly just dumping like 400 to 500 on low spoils, and then citizens couldn't even get in with like 100 or something, and it kind of discourages people from putting in and interacting with the game rather than everyone just cooperating together.
Yeah, it's a real challenge because we bring in a like what you're talking about, a disincentive for dropping in large amounts, and ultimately that ends up reducing the spoils. Or we bring in mechanisms to encourage people to be more strategic, and that affects it. And so it's a real it is a balancing act, and we're going to be very careful with how we change the mechanisms. And I know there's a lot of people, a lot of groups who already have devised a lot of strategies around this, and I don't want to be swapping out the way these things move too quickly. That's why I encourage everyone to get on Delta and provide direct feedback to things we're planning to do, because we will rethink things, and we will take suggestions into account. once things make it to the live game, it's a lot harder for us to change them.
Well, okay, that's great. That's great to hear. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks for the hard question. Yep, keep them coming.
All right, Krypton, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. So I have a question. So in the near future, I know with the roadmap, do you have a plans to so that I can rent my mech? So for example, once the live person can control the mechs, can they able to rent my mechs? They'll pay me a certain amount. They'll gain the rewards if they want. Do you have any plan of doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we've always planned right from the start, and that will most likely. I don't want to do an absolute commitment. Only Siths speak in absolutes, but we plan to release this functionality either before or alongside the Mech Hangar. So look out for it. People will be able to play with early versions of it in Delta as soon as it's ready, which will probably be in Delta a lot sooner than it'll be in live.
Thank you so much.
All right, Flywheel, welcome back.
Hello again. I just wanted to mention, since a lot of people seem to be speaking about performance issues, you guys perhaps have any browser settings that you might want to recommend to everyone? Maybe a tweaking guide for gameplay that you might want to release at some point? Since I'm sure that's frustrating for some people, perhaps there's some browser settings you guys might have off the top of your head.
Not really. I would just encourage people to not use Safari. I'm not even sure if that's possible. I don't even know if there's a Web3 wallet that works with Safari, but just don't use Safari. Don't use older versions of Internet Explorer. The latest version of Edge is fine. Any Chrome or Blink derived browser is great. You got Brave, as I said, Edge, Chrome itself. These are all good. Firefox, I believe, is pretty good too. I know, I'm pretty sure there's some devs in so primarily our devs use Chrome, Brave, and Firefox, and we do testing in other browsers. But if you're one of those, you should be fine. And just any performance issues you encounter, like if you could record it and chuck it on Discord, we will investigate. One of the challenging things for us is that everyone on our team is like, as a gaming company, we buy really high spec computers for the devs, and that means that we're limited to the amount of devices we can test it on. And so sometimes we don't think about the laptops that don't have a dedicated graphics card, for instance. And so just any kind of feedback, especially if you tell us what device you're using, what browser you're using, what operating system, we can go find some hardware that will let us essentially emulate your environment as closely as possible and solve those issues, because it is important to us.
Yeah, I know I'm not a huge spec guy, but like I know some browsers have stuff like it'll use a CPU even though you have a GPU available and stuff like that. So I didn't know if any of that was causing problems, but I just wanted to bring up, maybe a performance guide if that's necessary, but I don't know the specifics.
I have heard that turning on hardware acceleration within your browser is helping some people reduce some lag. So maybe try that and see if that works for you as well.
So I guess we'll we'll put out a quick how to turn on hardware acceleration for your browser. It's not that difficult, but it's generally not in their actual preferences. You have to go into their kind of hidden preferences.
Okay, that's all I have.
Actually, on that, anyone experiencing problems with the minimap, etc., if you turn on hardware acceleration and then suddenly your problems all go away, that would be nice to know too. Again, we will still investigate, because you shouldn't have to go into your background settings in your browser and turn that on. But it would be nice to know.
All right, Vertigo.
Sorry, back again. I had two quick questions. One was essentially about payout issues with the mechs. I put my mechs in the queue many times and had them fight, but I'd never been paid out for it. Even on some of the matches I've watched, and in one particular, I saw two mechs won and never got a payout for it. I put a ticket in. Is this an issue other people are seeing? I know it is right now early access, so there might be some bugs with this kind of stuff, but I wanted to kind of get your words on this.
Yeah, it's something that I believe is fixed now, and with all the historical ones where someone won and didn't get paid out or got paid out the wrong amount, we're aware of it. And actually, last night I provided Smex. If everyone is familiar with Steve, he's usually pretty visible everywhere. I provided him the 2 spreadsheets of battle payouts and battle wins, and he'll be able to go through that and make sure that everyone got what they should have gotten, and anyone who didn't, we will be issuing the transactions. So that'll be a slow job because he has to kind of manually pair the data and double check each one. But yeah, we'll obviously make good on that.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I forgot my other question, so I'll get off the stage.
No worries. Thanks, man.
All right. I think that's just about all. Haven't got too many more.
Oh, here we go. It's Krypton.
All right, Krypton, welcome back.
Hello. Yeah, I have a follow-up question regarding renting my mech. Is it gonna be, if somebody rent my mech, is it gonna be having insurance required so that the mech that they borrow be destroyed?
Sorry, I didn't catch the last bit of that. Will it have what? Sorry.
Oh, my last question is about your plan on somebody rent the mechs, right? And you said it's part of the plan. Somebody can rent my mech. So my second question is the insurance required if they borrow the mech so that it won't be permanently destroyed? Because I know in the future it's gonna be permanently destroyed if they lost the battle, right?
Yeah, so that'll be something that the renter and the rentee will agree to, like essentially in a contract, and there'll be you'll be able to essentially force them to pay for insurance on each round, or they would have to provide some kind of collateral. There's a few things we can do. I mean, essentially, we're going to kind of model it, and we are modeling it on the way car rentals work, and they often force you to provide to get insurance, for instance. So yeah, it's definitely a consideration.
All right. Thanks so much, Alex.
Someone in chat had an interesting comment on that. If you've got a Deus Ex rarity mech, which there's only 3 of, how would insurance work with that if it's player supplied?
I don't want to go into specifics and tie myself to something, but it will just work. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll find a way for it, I'm sure. Ice Pickle, you there?
Hi. Do you have any updates on when the SUPS redemption contract is planned to go live?
Not at this point, and there is some specifics of that we have to work out with our lawyers. So yeah, just hold out for that.
Got it. Thank you.
Vertigo back again.
Yeah. When do you guys plan to go? Right now, we're in the early stages and whatnot, the early access. When do you guys plan to go live to the whole public?
No date set in stone at this point. I think it's actually we're closer to one of those when we know we'll know. You know, it's it is essentially open to the whole public at the moment, but you do have to go and get some subs to get in, and that's just that's a way for us to kind of control the numbers of people and just ensure that everyone who actually comes in at this point from the public are engaging with the game. What we don't want at this early stage is 10,000 people just sitting there consuming the stream but not actually contributing. So that we'll know when we'll get rid of that kind of subs limitation and provide the kind of functionality that onboards a player without crypto, without crypto knowledge and potentially at that point without a wallet, an active wallet. There'll be a line in the sand, and it'll be clear to everyone.
Why would somebody want to just sit and watch the stream at this point, I guess?
Yeah, good question. I guess really it's more about right now, it's easier for our customer support team if we're just limiting it to people who at least know how to create a wallet and acquire some BNB and log in with it, and our players are at least familiar with this process, because once we open that up to the general public, there'll be a lot more customer service questions that we'll be inundated with, and right now when we're still early access and making sure we had conversations prior about performance issues, we want all this nutted out before we're having to get our poor moderators and customer service reps responding to the general public.
Very fair. Do you guys have plans to add things like Matic or anything like that as far as onboarding and maybe even Avalanche or something like that, any of these other chains, or is it just going to be BNB for this point?
Yeah, we definitely have plans for multi-chain, including even mainnet, for instance. There's a liquidity questions that we have to be able to answer to successfully onboard another chain or L2, but the tech is already there, and it's purely a function of us turning it on and enabling the bridging. The only impact of that will be the smart contracts that provide that functionality will be getting them very seriously audited. They'll be open source, so the community will actually be able to have a look at them. Because there's some technical questions like how does the bridging work, and how do you ensure that new subs are not minted, and you don't end up with 3 chains with ridiculous amount of subs on them, and they're all fair questions. So when we get to that point of opening that up, people will be able to answer those questions, themselves. All that information will be out there.
You plan on having an in-game bridge?
Yeah, exactly. That's the platform itself is built to be a bridge, and that includes the NFTs as well.
All right, Leo, you there?
Yeah. So listening to a few other questions, I just wanted a little bit of clarity. I wasn't aware of the feature people were talking about of mechs being permanently destroyed without insurance. And I was just hoping to get some clarity of if you randomly forget to insure something, can you spend subs to repair it, or is a mistake like that going to permanently burn an NFT that you see value in?
It won't burn the NFT specifically, but the mech won't be able to won't be able to battle again. There will be value for those destroyed mechs, and there'll be gameplay mechanisms to actually do things with them. But there won't be an ability to resurrect the mech. It won't be possible to kind of forget to turn on insurance. I will make it very clear, if you get you're queuing up your mechs, it won't be as simple a 2-click process as it is now. There'll be you'll be it'll be in your face. Are you sure you don't want to get some insurance for this? It'll be a risk that players will be taking, very much aware they're taking that risk. And we obviously don't want people to wake up in the morning and their mech is gone, their NFT now can't battle anymore, and that they didn't even realize that was a possibility. So we'll be very careful with how that functionality comes into play. It is an important feature because it does, the element of actual consequences to these battles will be a really big part of what makes it engaging, and that's not just the insurance and the potential for the mechs to actually be completely destroyed, but for the actual game world and in-game properties and people's bases and things like that actually receiving having consequences for how they strategize around these battles. It's a big part of what will make it very engaging for players. So it's important, but we do understand that you really don't want to accidentally lose your mech. So yeah, it's something we'll always keep in mind.
Okay.
I may have removed him preemptively there, but that's fine. Someone had a good comment in chat about switching insurance to be automatically on with a warning when you turn it off. So that's that's probably something we'll think about.
The idea right now is that it won't really be something you actually turn off and on as you queue. It will be more like your car insurance, where you go out to the open market, you look at the terms of the insurance, and you engage a contract with with your mech that lasts. So once you've signed up for insurance, it's not something you have to think about. If I had to think about getting insurance every time I jumped in my car and drove around the block, I'd probably walk more. It needs to function in a similar fashion.
It'd be more of a per mech thing than a per battle thing. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
All right. Justified, you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. So, as we get into phase 3 and 4, and there's land and resources and factories, is there going to be situations or places where, because I'm really interested in those phases, but I bought mechs because I figured eventually, if I have land and factories, am I going to be able to place my mechs strategically to defend my factories and land?
Absolutely. That's a big part of it. You'll also be able to engage with defensive pacts with your neighbors, so that you're ensuring that you're all kind of defended in the best way possible. That's definitely on the roadmap.
Yeah, because I think there's so much of the phase 2, 3, and 4 that brings so much more to phase 1 that we're in. Even if you have a big brain, it's hard to get around everything you guys are going to be bringing.
Yeah, it's huge. I definitely understand that. We're focused on making these mechanisms as simple to understand as possible, but you know that there are just physical limitations that you hit. There won't be a need to understand everything within the world. You know, there'll be like ways to play it that you can focus on like a small piece. That's always been important for us. You know, there's certain games like real-time strategy games where you have to like understand every single mechanism to play it well, and we don't want that. We're focused on making sure that you can play to your strengths, and anything that's outside of your strengths, you can go out to the open market of your neighbors and players and engage with them. You know, that's what we feel, you know, the metaverse and game economies should be
Yeah, it's a
about.
true economy. I mean, not everybody's good at everything, so you have to build alliances and relationships in order to get anything done.
Yeah, that's right. And that
Yep.
was right from the very beginning. That's our purpose.
And then one other question, just from I'm on a MacBook Pro, and I have many of the same issues I think that people are talking about, and especially like on that mini map. When I expand the mini map to select, and I've been spending a lot more time, at least today I was in Delta much more because I try to pretend that it's real subs, but like when I zoom out the map, then you got to grab and move the map to even see where, you know, all the mechs are. And that little, you know, interaction is frustrating. But then I also noticed, because I'm a Red Mountain, we love to group together and have like 2 or 3 of our mechs just stomp around together, and we are such easy targets for those nukes. Sometimes it forces us to buy the nuke just to stop somebody else from nuking all of our guys at the same time.
That's interesting. That's a really good point. And yeah, the Red Mountain mechs are like their AI is definitely more military in style. You know, they function as a unit. Hence why the reinforcements are sent to where the mechs are. Yeah, it's that's
But
a
we're slow and we group together, and so I found myself having to buy the nuke or the airstrike just to stop. Even if it was 1 left versus 3, I'm like, we're in deep trouble if we get nuked.
yeah, that's an interesting point. Yeah, let us think on that, and maybe we'll play with some things in Delta. We have been like thinking about like faction team activities that, you know, may not actually require subs, that allow like players to respond to what's happened in the abilities log. But it's we've got to be so careful that we don't nerf an ability, or, you know, so
well, almost
yeah,
like if one team selects an ability, is there a slight counter move to maybe offset some of that without nerfing it or something?
Yeah, so that's something we're playing with. It may even involve the chat. We want to kind of expand on how the chat even has an impact on what's happening in game. So if you're in Delta, you'll see some things, and we'll play with some things. You may see some things that never make it to live. So
and the only other thing is, you know, I'm 49 years old, but I absolutely love this stuff. And I don't have bad eyes yet, but sometimes reading that small print, if there's a way, and I mean, it's a 16-inch screen, but if there's a way to possibly make like, you know, a toggle to make the font bigger, or, you know, any just to increase that, just because sometimes I'm like, I got to get a magnifying glass to figure out what he just said.
No, I totally get that. There's definitely some accessibility changes coming. Like I said, we're going to try and accommodate the colorblind people a bit more as well. So yeah, you'll see some of those updates come out.
Yeah. All I know is I mean, I found you guys, you know, like a week before the pre-sale or whatever, or not, the public sale came out, and I just think I mean, I know there's been bumps and bruises along the way, but you guys have come so far just in the last week, and I'm so excited to see where this goes. And I'm going to be along for the whole ride.
Thanks for that. I have to quickly take a break, but I know there's some more questions, so I'll be back. So just give me 2 minutes, but Kyle and Spencer will be able to answer any questions. If not, like I said, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
No worries. Anuchi, are you there?
Yeah, I just have like one follow-up question, just this last one. I wasn't sure if I was here or if it was asked or not, but will we see like power scaling on the reinforcements in the future? Because right now I've seen like about thousands of games already, like 2,000, and there are certain times where Boston's cyber dogs basically just hold up and solo 3 mechs at once. And meanwhile, I'm in Red Mountain, so Red Mountain's reinforcements just, does nothing in comparison to Boston's and Zaibatsu's. When you get close, you just implode.
Yeah, that's another balancing thing that Alex will probably have to answer more in depth. But yeah, all those little balance changes are definitely something that we're actively monitoring and looking into as well. Those abilities, though, are somewhat situational, especially like Zaibatsu's overcharge is very situational. So things like that you kind of have to strategize a bit more with. It's not just like, oh, you pump subs into it and it makes your syndicate more likely to win. It's more of a, okay, well, what's happening right now in the battle arena? What can I do? And what's going to work and what's not.
Yeah. Although Boston's dogs, I've seen Boston like throw out dogs just randomly, and then it can solo like 3 mechs at once, holding it throughout the entire fight. So that was mainly part of my main concern regarding the question, actually.
Yeah.
And
So
I was like, this is not balanced at all, because like one reinforcement is holding up 3 entire mechs for 3 minutes straight, and we can't do anything about it. We're just cuddled up trying to battle them out. So I was like, what the hell?
Over the coming week, as we dive into more of the last near 4,000 battles and the data and statistics for those, we'll gain a really nice clear picture around the balancing and how we can statistically optimize fairness, so that strategy and community utilization of strategy is really comes into play. And we've seen that over the last week more and more as players work together as a syndicate. And I also think there's at times for a lot of syndicates perception bias, I might say. Each syndicate will say perceives their losses harder than perceives their wins at times. And so every syndicate has their opposition to other syndicates' abilities.
Okay, well,
so
that's
Zaibatsu
fair.
says getting an extra mech is too much. Red Mountain goes Boston dogs are too much. Boston goes Zaibatsu's overcharge is too powerful. Naturally, there's opposition to other syndicates' abilities, and I think those statistics that we gain will give us really good insight into that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I actually missed the question, but I'm gathering the direction of it. We're focused on that balance, and we'll be monitoring it. It's not like it's never going to be. If there is an imbalance, it's never going to be permanent. And this is go back to what I keep saying today, is encouraging everyone to just be part of Delta. And whenever we try a new balance mechanism out, we'll do an announcement so everyone can jump in and give it a try. As long as you have the understanding, though, that playing with a fake economy is people definitely play differently, and it's really difficult to counter that.
Well, yeah. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, one of my favorite channels in the Discord is the Big Brainstorm channel in the Delta Force section. And yeah, there's always lots of good ideas in there and good feedback. So if you guys did want to be part of that, definitely join Delta Force. Sirius, you there?
Yeah, hi. Funnily enough, Kyle answered pretty much kind of answered one of the things I was going to say, but everyone was sort of talking so much about abilities and I was going to bring up everyone's biases, but Kyle covered part of it. But I thought I'd just bring up for how many variables there are seemingly going on, I actually think that you've achieved amazing balance. The wins and losses, it's sort of anyone's game all the time. And I think, yeah, biases are really everyone thinks that someone else's is kind of overpowered. And someone was just mentioning, Red Mountain groups up and we're susceptible to nukes, but they are also the tankiest things that are in the game right now. And without that slight vulnerability, there is no balance. So everyone's perceived balance, I guess, is kind of different. But I just wanted to say, yeah, I think the balance that's been achieved at the moment is pretty incredible.
Yeah, and imbalances will become clear pretty quickly in the stats, and there's the kind of imbalances that are difficult to foresee as well. We've had some matches where Zaibatsu outnumbers the other syndicates 3-1, and they play differently, especially in the early days where they were just do an overcharge stupidly. That's the kind of user behavior we just were not expecting. It never happened in dev, never happened on staging. Delta never used it like that, and then you see it on the live platform. It's like, okay, that needs to be, we need to do something about that, and we did, and now we're getting complaints that overcharge is too powerful. It's you can't make everyone happy, but the stats don't lie.
Yeah, well, that's it. The evens, the wins between the syndicates are pretty even, and then even for I'm Boston, but I'd see that sometimes other people sees, okay, we group up, it's our weakness. We're constantly screaming at our bots, stop separating, damn it. So we've got we've got a bit of an advantage in speed, but then we don't group up, and that's sometimes our failsafe. But at the same time, then all of a sudden they group up and get hit by a mech. So it's a double-edged sword. But I just wanted to say, yeah, I think the balance at the moment is pretty amazing.
My favorite thing is just screaming at the mech, run, damn it, run! You're not gonna survive, and that then they decide to run and they still get taken out. It's frustrating.
Yeah, actually, quickly on that note, there was something else I was having a big discussion with quite a large group the other day about it, and some people didn't quite realize. In a few of the videos, it's sort of hinted at that the mechs are running off humanoid sensors, I guess, like vision and sound. And sometimes people are saying, why are you standing there, not understanding? We're looking from a bird's eye view. The mech can only see what it can see. So it doesn't have the vision that we do. So sometimes people are confusing, why is it just standing there? But to its knowledge, it's completely safe and recharging its shield.
Yeah, so we also does the AIs are written very similarly, not 100%, but very similarly to how the player written AIs will be. So they are, there's no AI cheating. The AI is only aware of sound that reaches it and vision within its cone of vision. And so you might be looking at the map from really far away and you see everything. The mech can only see what's around it and what's actually appearing on its radar. So it's kind of it's very similar to watching a CS:GO fight, and you're why aren't you going after him? But you can't see him. It's the same thing.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for that, guys.
Thanks, Sirius.
All right. Looks like we don't have anyone else in queue, and we haven't got too many questions coming in. We're already
All right,
at,
shall we do 2 more questions and then we'll call it?
yep, I reckon we're already at 1 hour 43 minutes on the recording, so this will take a little bit to upload to YouTube. Yeah, 2 more questions. If anyone wants to come up on stage, feel free to request, or you can chuck them in the chat.
Here we go. So we got Reeve and Sage.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
I want to ask about recently I just added some of my new keycap, like Red Mountain Survival Major Pack, right? And I want to ask, like, is gonna be a huge major in the near future, some in a system game or something else?
Yeah, definitely. Those key cards will be used over and over again. We've got lots of plans to essentially give keycard owners like early access to things, like new drops and specific lore-based games that will come out. They'll feature heavily, essentially forever.
Yeah, like for example, in the game, right? Your syndicate have like 32 or 33% of win rate, right? And what a coincidence, that's your bot, your mech, right? Your mech is in the game, and you are in Red Mountain, and your team just activate the mini bot, and something pop up like your key card, for example, and it's upgrade your mini bot so that your syndicate have a higher chance to win. It's like that, or something like above.
There may be things like that. It probably won't have a direct impact on like ongoing gameplay. You have to be very careful about giving people advantages in the game, but there'll definitely be like indirect advantages and like I said, early access to things and secret things that you'll be able to unlock with those keys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very, very much.
No worries. Thank you for the question.
Sage, you there?
Hey, how's it going? You guys hear me?
Hey, yep.
All right, perfect. Hey, so I'm just kind of chiming in a little last minute. I just saw you guys were doing the AMA. And so I'm curious, I mean, I know you guys probably have the data of how many players have chosen how many factions, correct?
Yeah, it's actually up on the website as well, I think.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't checked yet. Can you guys mind giving me what that info is? Because I'm kind of curious if because I'm part of Boston, and I'm actually curious if I don't know. I just think cosmetic it's a little boring compared to the two. I don't know why, but I really do think that like I don't know. I don't know if like Boston's kind of like in last place with that with just spectators or whatever. But I actually think I think cosmetics actually plays a role into what some people pick. You know,
it totally does, and Zaibatsu got absolutely overwhelmed because their mech is the coolest looking one, and no doubt, yeah. And I say this, I am in Boston, so you'll see me. My username in the game is actually CEO.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, when I'm in the game, I have no advantages being the CEO, and all my activities in game will be transparent. So my profile will be on the website. I'll ensure that. With everything, you'll be able to see my wallet address when I brought subs in, all of that. So I'll be very clear with that. But no, I agree. I actually chose Boston because it was the least popular, because I think that actually provides that value. That we don't have like the people who chose Boston. I feel like they made a measured decision, and whereas I think Zaibatsu, it definitely suffers from their popularity. So yeah, it's all kind of give or take, and there'll be new mechs coming in, and this will provide some variety that but I don't think people will be making a decision purely based on aesthetics
Right.
in the next few months.
And that's how I kind of chose too. I just, I really think that, cosmetics does play a role in like what kind of like how many spectators you may get for one faction versus another, and that affects the voting in game and participation.
And that's something we've always tried to counterbalance with in-game mechanisms to ensure that the syndicate isn't isn't impacted by having fewer people, and that's a lot of that. You can see it with the actual how expensive the abilities get, the Gabs abilities, the battle abilities, because when you have a lot of people, they'll get the prices up pretty quickly. So it's something we're taking into account, and I agree that a syndicate who gets fewer people online shouldn't be completely below the level playing field, but just like all balance questions, it's something we have to kind of work on specifically.
Right. And, I'm not necessarily saying that I don't. It's not like I'm saying it's not balanced or anything, but I don't know. Like psychologically, I know that there's always something that goes into say with cosmetics. So I don't know. You guys have answered that pretty well. So just something to think about.
Yeah, it's something we're completely aware of, and like I said, in the next NFT drop, in the next Mech release, there'll be a bit more variety there, and I don't think it'll be as easy a decision to make for those who are influenced directly by aesthetics.
Right. Well, guys, great job though with the art. Seriously, though, I think it does look like a good game with potential. So
awesome. Thanks for the kind words.
All right. That was the last question. That wraps up this AMA. We've gone 1 hour 50 minutes now, so that's going to take a bit to upload to YouTube, but it'll be up later today if you guys want to check it out. You can also check out all the past AMAs on there too. They're all up and uploaded on there. So yeah, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks everyone. It was a blast answering all your questions, and we'll make sure we do another AMA very soon, probably timed with some new updates. So thanks all.